Good morning, patrons. Thought I'd come in here and do a video for you today. It might be morning for you. It may not be. I just say good morning because it's morning for me. So, there's been something that's been coming up in my mind lately that I'm like, you know what? This really needs to be addressed. And I probably will at some point release this video on the main channel. But for right now, I'm going to just address you guys, the patrons. So I live in Arkansas, and there are in the OZARKs. And, you know, obviously a lot of times I do go to Missouri for certain reasons, and that's also in the OZARKs. And when I go to Missouri, I often see this. I don't see it here too much, even though it is allowed here in some places. But I see it a lot in Missouri. And, all right, so I'm going to make some people mad. I'm just going to let you know right now. I'm going to make some people mad, but just understand where I'm coming from. I hope I try to bring that point across. Open carry. Open carry. I do not believe in open carry. And this is not that I don't believe you should have the freedom to open carry. You should absolutely have that freedom. I get it. But you're placing yourself at a tactical disadvantage. Now, let me just start off. Years ago, back in the early 2000s, I was working with a number of people in the state of Missouri. That's where I lived. I lived in, St. Louis County area. And we were trying to get concealed carry passed. And I started the website MissouriCarry.com. I was on the board of directors for the Missouri Sports Shooting Association, which was the NRA state affiliate. And I was on the board there for 8 years. And I met a lot of great people. One of the great men that I met who'd been working for years tirelessly to pass concealed carry and other firearms freedoms for the state of Missouri was a guy named Tim Oliver. He passed away recently. And so if you enjoy firearms rights, the rights you have in Missouri, you can thank Tim Oliver because he's the one who did a lot of the background work, along with some other guys too, on getting that passed. And he passed away. A lot of you guys have probably never heard of Tim Oliver. But Tim Oliver, he was a firearms instructor. He, was a volunteer lobbyist, up in Jeff City all the time. Was good friends with him. He was a great guy, and I really like. In fact, he taught me some of the things in my life that really created a foundation for how I view the world in a lot of ways. Had a lot of great conversations with that man as he tried to take me under his wing and because I was a volunteer lobbyist, worked for, did all that stuff I was doing. But anyway, he was a good guy. But he was very much against open carry. And most of the leadership in that time and era who helped pass concealed carry, who helped pass a lot of the firearms rights, like hunting education rights and hunters' rights and all these things, a lot of people don't know that back in the day, we did some pretty big battles with the Missouri Department of Conservation because they are very, very left-leaning at the very top of that organization, of that agency, I should call it. Very left-leaning. But all of these things we were ahead on the table for firearms rights, castle doctrine, all of the, concealed carry, all of these things that we push with our legislators to help write these laws and write them correctly. People would always come in and say, hey, we need to do open carry. And constitution carry is what they call it too. No, we don't need that. First off, a lot of politicians weren't going to sign off on it at the time. But number two, it puts you at a very tactical disadvantage. Understand something. And again, I'm probably going to make some of you mad. But understand, historically, the best battlefield generals of all time possessed two capabilities. Two. They were aggressive and they were deceptive. Aggression and deception. That's what made a battlefield commander come out on the side of victory. All throughout history, you see it. And just like in music industry, you've got one-hit wonders. You have some of these battlefield commanders who go out and they get lucky. But the ones historically that were consistently, look up Hannibal, look up Alexander the Great. The ones who were consistently successful in their campaigns were aggressive and deceptive. Those two things. If you're open carrying, you're giving up your deception. You're playing your cards. The criminal with half a brain will, before he does his dastardly deed, will scope out an area. He will observe an area, even if briefly. And he will see how the area is working and who can be his targets. There's a helicopter coming. Going to interrupt me. Looks like a life flight. I don't know if you all can hear it. We don't get much aircraft over these parts. I don't know where he's at. But I can usually tell the difference between military aircraft and civilian, and that's definitely civilian. Yeah, I see it. It's like a life flight. Anyway, sorry for that brief interruption. Where was I? Aggression and deception. Most of these criminals will scope out an area and they'll identify who's going to be the target and what potential threats may exist that would stop them from doing what they want to do. And if you're open carrying, you're immediately looked at. The criminal's going to do one of two things. He's either going to be like, you know what, I'll come back later. Or he's going to continue to do, if he's desperate, he'll continue to do what he wants to do, and he's going to take you out first. I went to Missouri recently. We went to Rockbridge, and I got a couple extra things I want to come out about that. Anyway, on Rockbridge, we went to Rockbridge, and we went through a couple different towns, went to Walmart, had to go to Walmart to get some stuff. We ate at the restaurant at Rockbridge. And at Walmart, there was a woman in front of me at the checkout, and she had what was called, I think it was called a sticky holster. Jamie used to have one. And it's a holster. She had it in her back pocket, and she was kind of bent over the cart. You know, she had some kids with her, and she was kind of looking at her phone, but her gun was sticking out of her back pocket, you know, just there. And she has no situational awareness at all. Anyone could come up behind her and just take that gun. Anyone could do that. And she would have nothing to say about it. No situational awareness. Now, in the restaurant at Rockbridge, there was a family that came in. It was a husband and wife, and they were probably in their 50s, 40s, late 40s maybe. And in walked another person who I'm assuming was their son. And he looked like he was just turned 21, 22 years old. Young kid. And he's proudly open carrying a 1911. You know, they're dressed nice, slacks, tucked in shirt, button-up shirt. And he's proudly carrying his open carry 1911 with a spare mag pouch on his belt. And he sits down, and not only he sits down and listen, if you're halfway switched on, if you have any sort of tactical mindset, when you go into somewhere, you are facing the door. He never made eye contact. He never made eye contact with me or anyone else in that restaurant that was there at the time. He should have, when you're doing that, you should be scanning. If you're considering yourself a sheepdog enough to carry, open carry, you better have situational awareness. And these guys, none of them. Most of the people when I'm out about, they're more interested in their phones and you know what they're not. They have no situational awareness. Guys, the reason you carry concealed is because you want to be able to maintain having your cards concealed. You know, when you're playing poker, you never let anyone know what your cards are. It's the same way when you're out there. If you're really a sheepdog, you are always scanning. You're always looking. You're looking for the wolf. You're always trying to identify the wolf. And I don't see that today. If you are open carrying, you're giving up a very beneficial tactical advantage. When you watch these videos, and I go on Twitter, and I watch these videos on Twitter, you know, there's a lot of different Twitter handles that will show self-defense videos of bad guys getting their just desserts. And every single time, almost every single time in these videos, the bad guy walks in and the good guy draws from a concealed position and ends the bad guy. That's what you see over and over again. The bad guy never sees it coming. Number one, bad guys are not used to people being aggressive back. Okay, they're cowards by definition, usually. Not always, but usually. And so aggression and deception, again, what do all battlefield commanders, good ones in history, have in common? deception and aggression. And so these people show aggression, they draw, they're not expecting it, and they draw from a concealed position, a handgun that the bad guy did not know was there. If you're walking around and you're open carrying, you're putting yourself at a severe tactical disadvantage. Keep that in mind, please. And listen, I love the fact that we have the freedom to open carry. I'm a believer in the fact that you should have that right. But I also know, as I'm looking around the world today, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm seeing the crime out of freaking control, and nobody in politics or in government willing to do anything to stop it, and that people are growing more and more desperate, and the love is growing more and more cold. I want you, the chances of you coming into an encounter like this is rising rapidly, and I want you to be successful. I want you to come out on the other end of that. And if you are open carrying your weapon, you're putting yourself at a severe disadvantage of coming out on the other side and being successful. Again, remember, the most successful commanders, battlefield commanders, all throughout human history, aggression and deception. If you are carrying open, you're giving up one of your main abilities to come out successful. Deception. Okay, that being said, I have a number of holsters that I use when I conceal carry. This is an inside the waistband holster, something I can easily put in and just put a shirt over and no one knows it's there. Okay, you can barely see the print. So that's usually my main go-to summertime carry. Most of the time I'm always open carrying on my Homestead. I have a Glock 17 for that. It's a large gun, but this one's a lot smaller, easy to wear with shorts and conceal in town. I also have another tuckable inside the waistband holster for that firearm that I can use. And if I want to make sure, just like I would wear this with like slacks, like some nice khakis or something like that, and then be able, run a belt through it, be able to tuck in my shirt behind these things. So it looks like the shirt's tucked in and it's completely concealed. But I am carrying a weapon. This is another tuckable inside. This for a Makarov. This is like a really small. I like this one because it's very slim, and so it doesn't print hardly at all. And so that's one of my favorite concealed carry. I don't wear this very often because I like this one, but there have been times where I'll wear the Makarov. Makarovs are very reliable firearms, by the way. And this is the Polish Makarov, not the Bulgarian. No, wait, is this? Yeah, this is the Polish. I gotta make sure. Polish Makarov. Anyway, all that said, a lot of people will say, well, Zach, I have a hard time finding a holster. And this is just a few of the holsters that I have. You're going to go through multiple holsters before you find one that really works for you and you feel comfortable with. And again, you're going to have some that work better with different situations than others. I have a container full of holsters that I never wear because I bought them thinking, hey, this might work. I wore it a few times. I'm like, I hate this holster. And it goes into the bin. And I keep it there because maybe someday someone will need a holster and I can, hey, would you like one of these? Would you like this? Maybe this will work for you. Maybe one of my kids or something. I have options. But understand that it's like you're going to go through a number of holsters before you find something that works for you. So don't be afraid to go out there and try some and have an idea of what you want. Do I want a tuckable? Do I want a inside the waistband, outside the waistband? What's going to be easier for me to carry? And then experiment with a couple of these things and go out and talk to your local gun shop and say, hey, what would you recommend? This is what I want to do. This is how I want to carry it. These are the clothes that I want to wear. And this is the environment that I want to wear those clothes in, and see what they recommend. Hey, I need something that I can wear to the office. I need something that I can wear to the beach. I need something that I can wear, whatever. And see what they recommend. And then go, and you might like it and you might not. But go through your options. Do not just strap something to yourself and let it be open because you find a holster that it's outside the waistband. It's a lot more comfortable that way. And I don't care who sees it because I have the constitutional right, to carry a gun whenever I want. I agree with you. But you're putting yourself at a tactical disadvantage if you do that. I want you to stay alive in 25. I just came up with that at the top of my head. It's almost 2025. The world's been crazy in 2024, so it's only going to get crazier in 2025. Stay alive in 25. That's the motto that I'll have to adopt. What do you guys think? Am I off my rocker? Come on, guys. You know it's good to have the constitutional ability to have Constitution carry. But you also got to admit to yourself, if you're honest, you are putting yourself at a tactical disadvantage. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. If you absolutely disagree with me, tell me about just how off the rocker I am. Hit the like button before you go if you're on YouTube. And I really appreciate that because it lets YouTube know that people watch and enjoy my channel. If you're on Patreon, God bless you. And I hope that you're getting everything you need to get out of this. Remember, I have the videos for butchering, the series. I had the videos for radios. I have the blueprint for the chicken coop that we put up recently. Also, those PDF downloads that you're going to find on Amazon for at least $1,000 a piece. Over at Amazon, the prices are getting crazy for those things. They're out of copyright, out of print, over 100 years old, written by a guy named Dr. A.B. Howard. You want to get those books because those are something that the medical establishment has been trying desperately to get out of the public domain for over 100 years. So if you join my Patreon, you get that for as little as $1 a month. If you join at higher levels, I really appreciate that. You're helping to support the channel. All right, guys, leave your comments below. See you next time at the Homestead. Bye. In the spring of 2024, Saudi Arabia ended the long-held practice of requiring its oil to be sold in U.S. currency. And recently, governments around the world have been repatriating their physical gold from Western banks, opting instead to hold that gold within their own borders. China, meanwhile, continues to set records in terms of stockpiling its physical gold reserves, while at the same time dumping billions in U.S. treasuries. All these instances can otherwise be called indicators. Indications that the world is readying itself to participate in trade that does not involve the United States or the dollar. And at home, our banks are showing signs of a deflationary collapse, in which case the FDIC does not have a fraction of the funds on hand to ensure you can get your money should your bank fail. On the other hand, they keep telling us inflation is getting under control, but for some reason, the prices we pay day to day keep going up and products we pay for keep getting smaller. I've put a link in the description below this video that will allow you to start the process to convert money you may have already saved into precious metals that you yourself can hold. You hold it, you own it. Throughout history, precious metals have always been accepted for goods and services, even in the most chaotic of economies and war-torn countries, dating all the way back to when Alexander the Great ruled the known world. Guys, we're over $35 trillion in debt. If you're concerned, I don't blame you. ITM Trading has a well-documented history of helping people put their money into physical metals that you hold. Again, if you hold it, you own it. Hit that link below and see how ITM Trading can help you get the ball rolling towards financial sustainability. The consultation is free and there's no pressure. They will show you your options based on your concerns and goals you have for the future. By doing this, you're safeguarding wealth just like people have done successfully for literally thousands of years. You are now part of that history.